controller. I love video games, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo,
and Sega, boy.
Really don't matter to me, man. Who ready to play? Hold up, the GameHead got something to say. Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy God Shepherd and I'm back. Oh yeah, with another video. I'm also a hip-hop recording artist and all of that good old stuff. And I hope you know where to go find my music. Anyway, let's get into this video. So you guys, the Nintendo Switch Oled, you guys, has been around for what, like a couple weeks now, or almost a couple weeks. Released on October 8th of 2021. Weird to say, but just a year. But anyway, that's when it released, and I was able to get my hands on one, you guys. And in this video, man, I'm just gonna share my thoughts, you know, give my little review on what I think as far as the Nintendo Switch OLED goes. And basically, is it worth picking up? After I share my thoughts and my little review on it, I'll tell you if I believe it's worth you going to pick up or just leaving it alone. So let's get into this. So you guys, let's just dive a little bit deeper into the new Nintendo Switch OLED, and let me just go ahead and share my thoughts, you know, on my likes, dislikes, you know, things of that nature, you know, comparisons between this and the, you know, the old Nintendo Switch, or the original, if you will. Because there is a lot of things to compare here, and you know, a lot of things that, again, that I like about the new versus the old, and you know, and dislike. You know, I wouldn't say a lot, but you know, there's some. So here we go. You know, first of all, you guys, we gotta recognize, you know, the biggest elephant here in the room. You know, there's a couple big elephants in my opinion, but the screen on the Nintendo Switch OLED, it's just popping. It's a lot better. I just have to put it out there. I am playing less in dock mode and more in tabletop and handheld mode, whether I'm leaving or not, because of the OLED screen. And this is when this thing really pops. And you know, and again, to experience that thing, you gotta have it out of dock mode. That's the only way you're gonna get the full experience of, you know, the OLED screen. You know, the big selling point of this new Nintendo Switch, right? I think we all can agree upon that. You know, and one of the things that I like but kind of don't is the fact that the Nintendo Switch OLED it's kind of loose, if you will, in its, you know, when you have it in the dock. But again, that's okay. And you don't have to worry about scratching your screen this time because of it being so loose. And another thing that I do like, you know, is the fact that the back panel just pops, you know, right off. You know, that's good. And it's, you know, it doesn't just flip down like the original, and you can get right to, you know, the wires and do what you need to do as far as unplugging and plugging them up. And the other big elephant in the room, you guys, of course, is the freaking kickstand. Oh yeah, I mean, you don't have to worry about getting cramps in your neck anymore, in my opinion, because you can adjust this thing to different heights. Oh yeah, and you don't have to worry about, you know, when you slightly bump it or slightly bump the table it's sitting on, that it's gonna fall over, versus, you know, the original Nintendo Switch, because you can see the difference when it comes to the kickstands here. I believe that this kickstand should have been included in the original Switch, you know, but you know how companies are. You know, I believe that they knew this should have been included, but they're like, oh, well, let's just wait, because there will come a time where we're going to revise our system and boom, we're going to give them what they want, and they're going to be so excited. Well, it's about time, Nintendo. It's about time. So yeah, and when it comes to, you know, comparing, you know, this against the original Switch, we can see that the memory card slots are kind of in the same area, which is under the kickstand, but you know, position slightly different. You know, the original, you got to push the card up into it, and right here on the you know, Nintendo Switch OLED, you slide it to the side and to its slot. And also we can see that the speakers, they're in a different position as well, but slightly in the same. Well, we know that they're on the back right here, but the OLED, its speakers are up under, you know, kind of up under like the kickstand area, or up under the console. The original, they're just kind of right there on the back. And in my opinion, because of this slight move or this position of, the speakers on the OLED, to me, it sounds a little bit louder. I don't know if you guys think the same, but for me, it's louder. Also, we can see the difference in the ventilation grills here, if you will, and I don't really know if that makes it more hot or more cold. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure somebody has tested it before, but as far as, in my opinion, I can't tell you if that makes a big difference as far as the ventilation. And moving on, man, we can see that the buttons, as far as the power button and the volume up and down buttons, they look different. And this is kind of one of those things I kind of don't like. That's just because with the power button, it feels like I'm struggling to reach it because it's more, embedded into the system versus the original. It's right there on top, bam, you push it, you got power. And, on the OLED, it's like you got to really push deep to get to it, if you will. Also, we can see that the game card holder, the game card slot here, shaped a little bit different, but still in the same area. And you guys, I don't know if you guys are planning on using, different accessories with your Nintendo Switch OLED that you had on your original Nintendo Switch, but I'm telling you right now, if you are, some of those things, if not most of them, they are not going to work. For instance, different types of grips, they're just not going to work because they were made for the original. And then you got things like, for instance, right here, I have a wall mount for my original Switch. It fits the original Switch dock, but it doesn't fit the OLED Switch dock. Because it is slightly bigger. And just to prove that right here, we can see as I have both of these, docks stacked on top of, one another or whatnot, we can see that the OLED Switch dock right here is just a smudge bigger. That makes a big difference when it comes to different accessories and things like that. It's just a tad bigger, and that just gets on my freaking nerves. Like, come on now. But hey, they want us to spend more money. And another thing, another plus, as far as the OLED goes, is I am happy that at least the OLED will still fit into the original Switch dock, just in case something, Lord forbid, happens to my OLED dock. At least it will still fit in the original dock.
So you guys, with all of that said, is this a system that I believe you should pick up, or a system that I believe you should just leave alone? Well, that depends. So if you are a person, I'll just put it like this, if you are one who has never had a Nintendo Switch, that's right, you've never had one, you don't own one, do not go and buy the Lite. Don't do that, unless you can't afford this one. Do not go and buy the original. Don't do that unless you can afford this one. Buy this one. Buy this one if you never had one. This would be the one you would want to go straight to, mainly because of the, kickstand, I will say that. But most of all, because of the OLED screen, especially if you plan on using it a lot in handheld mode. And even if you don't plan on using it a lot in handheld mode, occasionally, or you might end up using it in handheld mode. Because again, you are a person who has never had their hands on a Switch, never bought one. This would be the way to go. So if you are a person who has, let's see, a Nintendo Switch Lite, and you are looking to upgrade, this would be the way to go. Because now you can go from having a Lite, which you cannot dock. You get what I'm saying? You can't dock that and put it on the TV if you or whatnot, but this one you can dock. Plus, you're gonna get an OLED screen and have a better experience, in my opinion, when it comes to tabletop and handheld mode. Now, on the other hand, if you are a person who has an original Switch, well, this can go both ways, because I have an original Switch, and I'll explain if you didn't catch it in the beginning. But again, if you are a person who has an original Switch, a revised original Switch or whatnot, I wouldn't go this way. And I'll tell you why. I wouldn't go this way because you still can dock it. The biggest difference here, again, is the kickstand to me, and the fact that the screen is an OLED screen. So you are going to see a big difference, in my opinion, when you play this in handheld and tabletop mode. But again, if you are a person that has an original Switch and you don't, let's say, plan on playing more tabletop and handheld mode than you do dock mode, this is just not the way to go. I wouldn't spend your money, your hard-earned money, if you will, on this unless you really plan on taking advantage of the OLED screen. Now, for me, I do have an original Switch, as you've seen in the video. I have two. You know, I have the original that when it first launched, and I have the original revised Mario version, if you will. And now I got this one. But when it came to me playing my original Switch, only time I put it in handheld mode is when I was traveling or going somewhere, really. And sometimes I didn't play it a lot then. But when it comes to this, I am playing more tabletop and handheld mode than I ever have in my life since the Nintendo Switch's launch. So yeah, so that for me, that's a big, yeah, I need it, I want it, I'm gonna play it. So this has not been, since this release, I've played tabletop and handheld mode since it has been released, and I am loving it to the fullest. Because if you're looking to keep it docked, I would say you're wasting your money. So there you guys have it. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts on my thoughts, on my little review, on my, thing of should you get it or just leave it alone. Would love to know what you guys are thinking. And for those of you out there who own an OLED, Nintendo Switch OLED, what are you thinking about it? How do you like it? All right, until next time, thank you guys for tuning in to GameHead. Peace.